How's it going, everybody? It's the CDH Warrior and
Bro, Mikey Studios.
coming at you with another episode of our weekly podcast, The Bro Show.
Welcome back to the Bro Show. Today we're going to be discussing you're just going to have to deal with my hair. Today we're going to be discussing why do people do certain things before, why do people do this before doing this, which means why do people judge one another before they get to know each other? Because you never know, they could have been the person that could have been the helping person that would have helped you.
Yeah.
But I also want to say hello to some people too that watch our podcast. And if you're new here, stay true around here. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification, and join the family. Might as well. And because once you hit that subscribe button, you're part of the family. So you might as well join. So, but big shout out to Amanda.
And a shout out to Kathy.
And, but as for me, growing up, my people didn't start judging me until I hit about high school years. My elementary and middle school we were all still friends. But once we hit high school years and after graduation, that's when all the started rolling downhill.
I think that's pretty much standard. Because it's when I know I dealt with the same thing in high school. But I pretty much stated I had moved right around the time I was going into high school. So it was a whole new group of people. That's probably part of it, but I'll never know if that was the whole issue.
And what do I mean? They'll try, what I mean by judging is they will try to look for certain things in a person before they get to know them. Mm-hmm. Like either it be the way they walk, talk, the way they present themselves, the way they...
Yeah.
But before you start pointing the fingers at people, remember, if you point, because there's 3 of them that point right back at you. Sometimes 6 if you do 2. And I was like, I've been made fun of. Mm-hmm. I've been judged. I've been everything known to man when it comes to... That's why I don't really have many friends. Because...
And then you end up losing friends because they're not who you thought they were.
Mm-hmm. And I heard this thing a few weeks ago. The people that don't like you, this is how powerful each and everybody is. And take a second and actually listen to what I'm about to say. This is how powerful everybody is. There might be some people out there that might not like you. They'll team up with people that don't like you.
Yep.
But the thing is, in reality, they don't like each other. They're drawn to each
They're
other
drawn by a common enemy.
because of you. See how powerful you really are? It's because of you. Those people are gathered. Mind blowing, isn't it? People actually team up with people that don't like each other because of you and because of y'all. But if you hear something in the background, it's just the heater
It's the
kicking
air
on.
conditioning.
Heater kicking on. But I would like to hear from my co-host's thoughts about his experiences and whatnot about just things in general.
Well, for me, I'm going to jump off of his statement. High school was hard for me. I'll be upfront about that. But it was also mostly because I didn't get to keep the friends I had from elementary and middle school. Because right before I went to high school, or right around the time I started going into high school, I moved from South Georgia to Virginia. And that turned almost everything on its head. I went from the everyone understood who you were to moved into a city full of rich snobs. I'll be bluntly honest with that. Most people had a lot of money. I'm not stating that we weren't well off. We were. I lived pretty much at the top. But because of the way everyone had been programmed, I mean, we're talking about people that had known each other 15 years, or 10 years, and then suddenly this new person shows up. I got treated terribly for the most part because of I'm not going to say because of my situation, but because of the cliques that existed. I could not find a group to actually be in, so I pretty much became an outcast in high school.
I pretty much stayed to myself because for those who don't know what cliques are, that's this generation of, well, I don't know about this generation. The generation that we grew up in,
Yeah.
generation, cliques were groups of people who thought they were better than others.
Mm-hmm.
For those who didn't know. But
it's one I struggled. I very much ended up going through hell. Now, I was homeschooled, so that doesn't necessarily subtract or add to the fact that I was somebody completely new. But I think I've kind of veered off the original topic. But that was my experience.
mine was mainly about the way I walk. The way I walk, I have what you call CP, which is short for cerebral palsy. And
You
if
walk with a bit of a limp.
and my hips are out of line, so yeah, it's gonna affect the way I walk. So in high school days, well, except for my senior year was a good year. Well, my ninth grade year, it's when it was your ninth grade year when all the freshmen. It was my freshman year that I had all the aggravation.
Yeah.
My 10th grade year, started mellowing out. My 10th grade year, my 11th grade year was good, and I didn't have no problem. I mean, I had some problems in my 12th grade year, but not nearly
Not
as
extreme.
not to the because I was a senior, and seniors ruled the school back then.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I went to high school, but yeah, I was made fun of. I was being judged on not as a person,
Yeah.
like how you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
I was more judged on my physical appearance but then once they actually got to know me, they pretty much said, "Hey, you're an all right person."
Yeah.
So this is why you should not judge somebody before you get to know them, because you never know, they might be the person that could be your next best friend, or they could be the person that would help you when you least expected it.
Yeah.
Or been there for you when you needed somebody. Because if he would have judged me, or if I would have judged him back when we first met, we wouldn't be here today.
No. What I find funny is,
I mean, was he a little scared coming? Was he a little scared of telling me how he is at first? Vaguely, yeah. But after a few weeks, months, or whatever you want to call it, he come to find out that I'm just trying to be a good friend to him.
well, and when I first started working over at the office, it was not pretty. I walked in to a lot of issues. Because I walked into the fact that
He kind of walked in the middle of aggravation moments. That's what we're going to keep it at.
because when I walked into our place of work, it was the week before Labor Day. Working Labor Day, I'll go ahead and state this. Working Labor Day in retail is hell. And I've worked Labor Day in retail pretty much every single year I've worked.
Except for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the week before Thanksgiving.
Oh, God.
Those are the two. That and Mother's Day. Those are the top 3 holidays that working in retail sucks.
Well,
and of course, this is President's Weekend, or whatever you put it.
President's Day, yeah.
President's Day weekend.
I don't know. Earlier this week was a pain because it was Valentine's.
Yeah, and I heard that even though I didn't work Valentine's Day, I heard that it was a madhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So Valentine's Day's up there too.
Yeah. Valentine's Day, we were practically burning down.
Because I heard it was horrible.
But we didn't run out of stuff. Yay!
Mm-hmm. The other thing I want to touch bases on too is why is it, and most of y'all will agree, and this is one of the reasons why I don't like working retail, is because as kids, we're taught to put back where we found it, no matter what it is. We're as kids, we're taught to put back where we found it. If we borrowed something, we put it back where we found it. But now it's like,
Are we discussing the customers that leave stuff in random places, or the associates that leave stuff in random places?
just in general, because I don't want to say specifically on what I'm trying to do whatever with. I'm just going to keep it at random.
Yeah.
It's because like
The reason why I brought that up is I've seen both.
I have to.
Don't you always love the ones that leave the rotisserie chickens in the fridge?
That are just on a random shelf. But it don't matter. You could be out. You could walk to out through Walmart or whatever.
Yeah.
Unless someone's being rushed to the hospital, stop leaving wherever you feel like it.
Yeah.
And the bad habit, and I know I'm talking to a generation that just don't give a shit. But we need to get back to basics, because it does not take a rocket scientist to walk 5 to 10 more steps to put a shopping cart where it belongs. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to put something back to where it belongs. If you have something cold, don't leave it in a random spot. Even if it's in a cooler section, put it in one what the actual term for it is a bunker. It's those open
top coolers.
Yeah, they're called bunkers. Even if it's just randomly sat in there,
It's still cold.
It's still cold enough to keep it cold until a person who works there can put it back to where it belongs. Yeah. But I've seen all kinds of crazy stuff over my years of working
retail. Yeah. Can you believe the end of this year will be 4 years for me?
It'll be 5 for me. Let's see. This is almost March, April, May. Somewhere in May or June will be my 5th year. May 30th or June 30th or something 30th.
Yeah.
It's one of those months because I got when the weather started turning warm, or it might have been June. I don't know. I'll look it up when we're done with the podcast. All I know, it was around spring to summertime when I got hired in.
Yeah.
But, and I want to, the last video that we did when I said I was on my 4th year, which is basically true, but my 4th year won't actually hit until on YouTube. It won't actually hit until September.
Oh.
The mid to end of September. So yeah, I'm still on my 3rd year, even though I may put out a video saying 4 years.
Yeah.
So even though I'm in my last part of my 3rd year, September will be technically 4 years on.
YouTube.
That's because that's when I started my main channel. So every 30th or whatever date I started was the actual date. But even though you don't have to go by that, you can end your seasons on where you want it.
Yeah.
Technically. Like we ended our podcast and we're just this makes
This is what,
season 3, episode 2 or 3. So you can pretty much end your season wherever you feel like it.
Yeah.
It don't necessarily have to be on the day that you started.
Yeah.
Because if you actually look at TV, their seasons are every 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So same way with YouTube. You can do it as you can set your own goals. Whether it be your first season could be your first 6 months, or it could be a year.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. You ever go to, some people are funny.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about whatever funny. I'm talking about ha-ha, laughing type funny. You can go, you can just sit there on a park bench. Because this is what mom and dad does. They'll, if they don't feel like doing nothing but just get out and just have a good day, they'll either go to the mall.
People watch
in
the mall.
They'll go people watching the mall or the park. Because if you actually pay attention, well, not really like pay attention and just randomly look around, you can see people do some funny stuff.
Oh, good grief, yes.
You can see people actually do funny stuff.
The volume of stupidity I watch, just in the general public. Not work related, just general public.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking around West Town a couple of weeks ago. And I would have sworn I stepped into another planet. But then again, that's standard West Town.
But this is the reason why I won't touch West Town. That's the reason why I won't touch them all on the weekend. Unless they first open up. The main reason is because it gets so crowded on the weekends.
Yeah.
I don't like crowds. If it gets too crowded, I won't go. That's why I like going to places when I first open up. It's not quite crowded yet, even though there's going to be people there. It's not quite crowded yet.
Yeah.
That's why I like going to McKay's either right when they open or right before they close.
Yep.
Because that's the two time. Either in the morning when they open up or in the evening right before they close, because it's not going to be packed and crowded. Yeah. Like see how close we are? Mm-hmm. That's how McKay's are.
Yeah. For
those who don't know, they're like wall-to-wall people in that place. And I had a lady the other day. She told me that she was scared to push the elevator button, and she said, "The reason why I was scared to push it was because I thought that was the one that's in the store."
Mm-hmm.
And it has a fire symbol right up above it.
That's what she thought it was?
She thought it was a fire alarm.
Welcome to retail, folks. No, I've got one even better. I want to know whose stupid idea it was to kick the button on the elevator.
What button?
The one downstairs. Have you noticed that that one always has a shoe print on it? Doesn't matter how much we clean it, there's always a shoe print on it. Whose bright idea is it to use your foot to step on an elevator button? And we're not talking that it's on the floor. This thing is probably...
Higher than I can kick.
It's probably about the level of this table. And I don't know if you all can see the table in front of us.
Table.
But it's about that height.
Yep. We're using a table now to make it look more. That way, if we have something to snack on, we can just sit here and that's why. And see, that's why we have.
Yeah.
Or it could be a person that is a germaphobe and that don't like touching. But either way, you can do this right here.
Why use your foot?
You can do
I
this
mean,
right
that's
here.
the point that I was trying to get.
You can do that right there if you don't want to touch it.
My point wasn't so much were they a germaphobe or not. My question was, why do you use your foot? I mean, there are better and easier ways to press an elevator button.
Now unless this is some random college kid. Because you know how them college kids are.
Oh, the ones that believe they have to show off.
Mm-hmm. Yes, folks, we don't live. We work.
Well,
We
I
work
kind of
downtown.
live.
He lives around
I live about
around
4
the
miles
campus,
from downtown.
but we
Work.
work next to a college.
You know, we work right off a college campus. That
Where Cumberland and Kingston Pike meet is where we work.
Yeah.
Right? What turns it, and a railroad track goes right down the middle and where it joins
Oh, the railroad track is the
the
divider between Cumberland and Kingston.
Yep. For those who live in Tennessee and didn't know that, or Knoxville, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
That's the
divider.
dividing line between the two streets.
Yep. Because it runs right down the middle. I think more on Kingston Pike than Cumberland, but
Yeah.
the bridge that goes over the road.
Yeah.
That's actually the dividing line. The train bridge.
The one that you go under.
Yeah.
Oh, as you go into the one over next to the apartments.
Yep.
Okay.
The train bridge that goes over.
Kingston and Cumberland.
Yeah, that's the actual true dividing, not the one that's on the ground.
Okay.
Because the one that's on the ground is actually more on, because it goes diagonal across the road instead
Yeah.
of straight across.
Straight across. Yeah. I didn't think about that.
But in other news, yeah, what I'm about to say is kind of a sad moment. My cat, Tabitha Perry, passed away at 9 something this morning. She lived a good long 10 years. He was the first person I talked to. Yeah, I called him.
I said, I'm not coming. You don't go into labor, do you?
Yeah, he goes in tonight. But yeah, sorry about that, folks. She lived for the type of cat she was. I'm surprised.
I'm kind of, based on what you told me, I'm surprised she lived as long as she did.
Yeah, that's what I was basically about to say. Because her mom, when we found her, had a virus and she could not
Yeah.
produce milk. And I think it kind of affected Tabby a little bit more than Garfield. Because Garfield watched a little bit. Yes, he had his moments,
Yeah, Garfield had his moments where he accidentally walked
but-
sideways.
but he could actually get up and actually play and have fun where Tabby couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, Tabby she could play, but not like as well as Garfield. So I think the virus, whatever they might have had, affected her just a tad bit more
Then Garfield.
than him because. And I'm surprised she lasted 10 years. She had, and I took it hard.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw her, the moment, and you know, guys don't really are naturally are drilled in the head not to cry.
Not to show emotion on it,
Even though I have a cat named Precious, she was actually the true Precious cat. Even though Precious was named Precious because what I saw in her too.
Yeah.
But
That was Bear.
Bear was more precious
Then Precious.
than Precious. Because I was more protected over Bear than any of them because I knew there was something wrong with her from day one. I knew because as soon as I found out that her mama can't produce milk, we had to literally bottle feed them until they got old enough to feed on their own. And I know, and I tried to keep it quiet, folks, but I just can't keep it quiet because it just happened right in like a couple hours before he showed up. And I'm just too emotional right now. Because like I said, she was my little baby.
Mm-hmm.
She was my main precious girl. She was daddy's girl. And I mean that too.
Yeah.
I mean, all these cats are daddy's little boys and girls. But because you know how you have your favorites?
Mm-hmm.
She was number one. And if you want to go like how protective I was, every time when someone got onto her,
You jumped them.
or if one of the cats was mean to her, trust me, I got up and tapped that ass.
Mm-hmm.
I spanked. I mean, because I knew how special she was. I mean, all I'm saying is she had a good long 10 years. And yeah, I don't usually admit that I cried, but
You did.
I for a good 15 minutes or so. I almost called Drew and said, I'm canceling today's episode. That's how emotional I got.
Oh, yeah.
But then I said, no, we need to get something out there because it's been longer than. Because normally I would put a video out on my side. Because even though we do this on Saturdays, by Wednesday, it'd be 5 days.
Yeah.
So by Wednesdays, I would normally have to put a video out the whole until, but we didn't do it this time. So I had to put aside my emotions long enough to get this video out that we're doing.
Yeah.
Because this is our weekly podcast.
I don't want to down anything, but I kind of want to jump off that. That's where it worries me with Sydney. You've seen pictures of Sydney.
Yeah. She's up there in age too.
I can't believe she'll be either 18 or 19 this year.
Damn.
And God help his cat.
Sammy ain't too far behind.
She scared the crap out of us back December. And I only remember this because it was around the same time Mom died, around the same time of Mom's death anniversary. We think the cat had a seizure, but she hasn't had another one since that we know of.
Maybe it was some kind of emotional thing because her mama's not there. Because you know how some
Not
animals
necessarily. I don't see it that way since it's now been
never know.
almost over 2 years at this point.
Because some animals act strange when they lose them up, when they're close to somebody.
But it's one. She literally walked out of the bedroom and then collapsed. That's how bad it was. And I thought we were going to lose the cat that night. If anyone remembers, I'll tell you exactly which night it was. Do you remember when ADC ran The Sound of Music a couple of weeks ago?
I don't watch that. I don't watch any musicals. The only musical when I do watch one, the only musical that I come close to watching is Grease. That's about the only thing I'll watch.
Yeah. But it was around that time.
And maybe Cats. I wouldn't mind seeing a good, like the musical Cats.
Yeah.
I might see one of those. But I'm not really a musical type person.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But she's been fine since then. So it's just kind of like, okay, what happened?
Could have been stress. It could have been anything.
Yeah.
And sorry, folks, for getting. I know this wasn't a cheerful type video.
But we're not always going to have cheerful videos.
Because these videos are based on real life stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
we don't do it just to hear ourselves talk. They're out. We do these to help people that are struggling through the same situations we are.
I mean, think about it. A couple of, what was it? November? December.
Well, when Garfield passed away.
No, Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, It's been a couple months back.
Yeah.
That's all I know. It's been like 2 or 3 months ago.
But it's one we'll do videos like this every so often. I know you did one with Betty White as well. So it's not always going to be happy and uplifting. That's not the point of these videos.
That's why we call it everyday life stuff.
Mhm.
It's because for that way to show people that, hey, these people are keeping it real. I can relate to
what they're talking about.
And you never know. They might have went through it too, or they might not experienced it yet. And these videos are to help.
I think it's one that your comment about Bear and Garfield is one I remember when we lost Sydney's littermate. That was back when we lived in Virginia. I think I was in high school at the time. So it's been better than 10 years ago. That was a night I won't forget. It's hard to lose cats.
Not only just cats, dogs too.
Mm-hmm.
Because my dad was tore up when we lost Diamond, and I was too.
Yeah.
Because your animals aren't just
It's part of they're part of the family.
family. You
Yeah.
treat them like your own. Well, if you're someone like me, you treat them like they're your kids or something.
Yeah.
When Diamond passed away, I told Mom, Dad straight up, I'm not getting another animal. I'm not getting another dog. It's too. And I'm probably about gonna when I have when the kittens
You're probably not
go
going to get
away.
another cat.
I might not get no more animals. It ain't because I'm not. It's not because of whatever. It's because at the
It's
end
the
of the
pain
day,
of losing them.
yeah. At the end of the day, it just hurts too much to. Because look at like I said a few minutes ago, I literally cried almost 15, 20 minutes after a 10-year relationship with Bear.
Mm-hmm.
That's how emotional that your bro Mikey got. And yes, I might look rough around the edges and I might act whatever.
Yeah.
I still do have a softer side of me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't let that show is because in reality, guys would be considered weak if we showed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that,
It's the society we live in.
yeah. Or the generation. This generation, it probably really don't matter. But the generation that I grew up in, if you showed sign of weakness, you were basically called a sissy.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth of it. The truth of the facts. My generation, we were called sissies if we showed any kind of emotion or whatever.
If we showed pain, it was terrible.
There was only one exception. If a family member passed away, that was the only time it was okay.
Yep.
The only time.
And sometimes even where we are now, sometimes that even has exceptions.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I almost broke down in front of a customer back in 2021. It's right around Valentine's Day. The irony is not lost on me.
Went that wrong too.
But I almost cracked in front of a customer and bought a stuffed giraffe. There's a whole story on Facebook. I'll find it and make it so it's kind of visible to the public and post it in the comment section of this. But I broke over a stuffed giraffe. And trust me, that was hard to explain to my boss that I had to take. I don't know. You weren't there because it was a closing shift I was working. But I literally walked off the sales floor. That's saying something for me to just outright walk off the sales floor into the break room. But that's how hard it hit me. And I didn't want to seem like I was being disrespectful to the customer because it wasn't their fault.
Yep, because that even something simple as a figurine or stuffed animal,
Yep.
it's a sentimental purpose.
The irony of said giraffe is it now sits on the bed in the master bedroom in Mom's spot. And has ever since I got it.
This episode might be a little short. Don't know yet, but
Not really that short.
shorter than normal. But the thing is, folks, it's just too hard.
Yeah.
It's just too. It's when you lose a loved one or a pet, it's just too hard.
Yeah.
Not to show emotions.
Mhm.
That's just the human side of us. Even though we're supposed to be, in reality, we're supposed to look at it as joy and all that because they're no longer suffering.
Yeah.
They're in a better place. But the human side of us,
Yeah.
it's just hard.
I'll go through and admit, having gone through this, I know I'm kind of going off track, but I am going to come back on the tracks in a second. That was hard for me to do a stream a couple of weeks ago after having almost lost a cat.
Cooking ones or the other ones.
It was a stream. I've been playing Pokemon Yellow and got to Lavender Town. And Lavender Town,
Get the home of lavender.
it's actually labeled as the City of Purple. But one of the main attractions in there is a pet cemetery. And that was hard to go through. After having almost lost a cat. That was a hard episode on me.
Yeah. It's like we said earlier in the video. These videos that we do ain't just to help us through the day and get our emotions out or our
Yes.
thought process out. These videos are for everybody, the whole community of YouTube in general.
Yeah.
So if you click on that if you click on these videos, our podcast videos, they're for you too.
Yeah.
They're for y'all too. It's not us sitting in front of a camera and just spouting random stuff.
Yeah.
It's to help people.
Going through a tough time.
Exactly. You might not went through it yet, but we might have, we might not have. This podcast is a community channel.
Yeah.
So once you hit that subscribe button and share it with your friends and family, you automatically become part of the family.
Yeah.
I'm not joking about that. Once you hit that subscribe button, I promise you, you become part of the bro show family. I don't care if you're a male, female, or whatever. You're part of the family. Once you hit it, and once you hit that big red button, and don't forget that notification bell. That way you'll know that the videos have been uploaded. But these videos that we do are mainly for you as
As the viewer.
the viewer, because you might know somebody. It might not be just you. You might know somebody in your life
Going through the same
going
issue.
through something, and hey, you can say, hey, those two guys on the Bro Show, you might want to check them out. Because you might come across a video that you might have went through, or you're going through it.
Yeah.
That's why we always say leave it down in the comments on what discussions that you want us to talk about. We might not read them right away, but we do eventually read them because
It can take us a couple of days.
yeah, because we can't
be on YouTube constantly.
because we also have real lives. Because we actually have actual jobs.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, for some people, it's a hobby, but for me, it's also
A side business.
another
Yeah.
another job. Because I take my YouTube serious. Don't matter what platform I'm doing.
Yep.
Whether it be my gaming, my main channel, which is food reviews and cooking and all that, the podcast.
Yeah.
I take each one which I need to upload a video on my travel channel because it's been almost 2 weeks now since I've uploaded on that, but life just gets in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I haven't uploaded was because I was worried about Bear. That's why I haven't done a travel video, because all my attention was going to her. But
I think this pretty much brings us to a close.
if my co-hosts don't have nothing much to say, if you don't have no things to bring up,
For the Bro Show, every Monday.
and this is CDH, and this is Bro Mikey,
Have a great day.
and God bless.